What's going on, guys? This is Kaishiro, welcome back. So we are back with another video. On this video, we're going to cover the usual Uncrowned Kings local metagame report video that will cover tournament results and decklist reviews. For the past week, we have June 12 to June 18. So a week-long span of tournament data, no? So we are going to see which decks are doing well at the tail end of our April format. So before we venture towards our July ban list, let's see which decks are performing well at the end of our format. So we have June 12 to June 18. So yeah, let's get started. We have Duelo Iloilo, ranking tournament. We have first place here, Tenpai Dragon. So this time it played Forbidden Droplet and Super Poly on the main deck. Forbidden Droplet and Super Poly on Tenpai Dragon are seeing less and less of play in the Japanese tournament results of Tenpai Dragon. They are opting to main deck bunch of hand traps over the likes of Droplet and the Super Poly, mainly to the fact that you want your hand cards to be available all of the time. When you're going second, you're going to interrupt the opponent using things like Crowbell and Ogre and yeah, other stuff like Nibiru. So I definitely think that the going second cards on the Tenpai Dragon are kinda seeing less and less play each week, and more and more people are going towards the full hand trap build of Tenpai recently. But yeah, I think these are still effective, no? Considering that in the Philippines, there's a lot of rogue decks and bunch of unfamiliar decks that you're going to match up. And I think Droplet and Super Poly does have a very good job against those decks. And next we have Snake Eyes Finsmith from Spencer Jones Go. So this time it played only one talent on the main deck, quite different from the usual Snake Eyes Finsmith that runs double talent on the main deck. Maybe the deck is quite extensive enough with 42 cards, so he trimmed down the deck with only one talent and played copies of Droll on the main deck and Nibiru as cross out target, and also Forbidden Droplet as well, which is very popular on his locals. And next, we have Voiceless Voice. So yeah, we have an MSS package, no, on the deck. So this is very interesting. It played a bunch of one-offs. We have one Instant Fusion and one Sky Striker Hornet drones. So this can link climb or do something intangibles for him, and also main deck the copies of Call by the Grave and Crossout Designator to answer the popular hand traps in the format right now, as he is only playing 2 Maxi and 2 Ash Blossom with 2 Imperm. So yeah, his list is very different from the usual Voiceless Voice. Also played the new Continuous Trap of Voiceless Voice on the side deck. Yeah, maybe that card can give battle phase advantages to him. I'm not really sure what's the logic on playing this card, but yeah. Also on the side deck, the copies of Ash and Maxi are there. They're third copies. And yeah, also on the extra deck, quite different as well. Played Sky Striker cards due to the Hornet drones on the main deck. And yeah, moving on, we have another Duelo Iloilo, ranking tournament. We have first place Snake Eyes Finsmith, so I think it's the same list as earlier. Yeah, I'm not really sure if there are differences, but yeah, it also played one talent and one droplet on the main deck with one Nibiru and one Droll. And next we have ABC XYZ Revolution. So this is the new deck in the OCG right now, and more people are trying to play the deck. They're experimenting with this deck, and there's a lot of ABC lovers in the OCG region, mainly to the fact that this deck is a very combo-ish one, very exciting to play, very challenging to play. So yeah, the only problem would be Maxi. Of course, you're going to get rattled by Maxi most of the time once you don't have Called By or Cross Out or Ash on your hand. You are definitely going to struggle with the Maxi. But yeah, this deck can bring out the best boss monsters on the game right now, and also can bring out a very punishing board on this build. So yeah, very nice build from Nelpendon. And next we have RDA from Aika-chan. It played Centurion on the main deck, no? Very interesting. Maybe Centurion gives passages on different synchro plays, and also acts an extender for his plays. And yeah, it played Skullmeister and Diddy Crow. He has a lot of coverages on the side deck against the Graveyard Shenanigans. And also, one copy of Skill Drain, he's only going first card on the deck in the side deck, and I think that's the way to go on this deck because you're going to sit on high attack boss monsters and yeah, Omni Negates and Beat Sticks on your board. Paired with Skill Drain, you're going to completely control the match. And next, we have Yu-Gi-Oh! Davao Mindanao Gaming. We have first place Jubel Unchained. So this time without the Finsmith, no? Yeah, without Finsmith. So yeah, from Vince Paulo Dagala. So it played copies of two Whaler only, and he has the standard ratio of Jubel with Fiend Shenanigans on the deck. And yeah, I think it's the correct ratio for this deck. It is very concise, very functional with 40. And on the side deck, it played Prohibition, no? So maybe he wants to call something like Troll or other cards that may hurt his hand cards. And yeah, play the barrier as well. It is very unjust to see the barrier on Yubel because the recent trend for Yubel decks are played with Solemn cards like Solemn Judgment and Solemn Strike. So it's very different to see barrier on the side deck for this Yubel. Next, we have Jobel Bios, Tenpai Dragon. So, another card that is seeing less and less play on Tenpai decklists is the Pot of Prosperity. So, many people are cutting the Prosperity on the deck to replace it with more impactful hand traps like Nibiru and Crow and Bell. Other hand traps that can do anything on the turn that you're going to interrupt your opponent. So, I think this build is quite different. Now, it played Heavy Storm and Duster on the main deck. Those cards can be very good on the Philippines metagame, considering that we're going to have so much back row decks in the Philippine landscape. So yeah, next we have third place, Blackwing Horus. So it played Horus on Blackwing. I wonder how it is quite resonating to each other, no? I'm not really sure on how it plays out. But yeah, it played Horus as an additional engine towards the deck and played triple copy of Small World, a great way to boost the consistency of the Blackwing. And also played a bunch of going first cards on the side deck with triple Necro Valley and triple Dimensional Fissure. So those cards can hurt the meta very much so because the Snake Eyes, the Finsmith, the Yubel, all of those graveyard decks are going to get rattled by the Necro Valley and Fissure. So yeah, very nice deck building here from Vivo, Milo. And fourth place we have Voiceless Voice. So this time, standard Voiceless Voice, no, nothing too fancy. Unlike the Hornet Drone Voiceless Voice earlier with Called By and Cross Out. This time, the standard Voiceless Voice, the standard amount of Diviner, 3 copies, and only one sa Oravis. Yeah, that's the only difference on this build. And also played Called By on the main deck. And yeah, play Dogwood on the side deck. Very good for Voiceless Voice, considering that Voiceless Voice doesn't have too much prowess to close out games fast enough. So I think Dogwood can definitely give you so much upsides on game 3 and on time as well. So yeah, a great way to win on time. And we have next Bogor Duelist Community ranking tournament. We have first place Tenpai Dragon. So this time with double Dora Draco, no? So this has been the norm of Tenpai Dragon recently with double Dora Draco and yeah, two Pydra. So it's been the norm recently, and I wonder if it's correct because I have played triple Dora Draco before. But yeah, I think he just wants to mitigate the drawing of multiple copies of Dora Draco and Pydra. So he has access towards the hand traps and board breakers on his hand with one single starter for the Tenpai OTK. So very logical from DR. Next we have Randra Snake Eyes. So yeah, pure version of Snake Eyes now with triple Poplar and yeah, triple Magician Souls. So this time it doesn't play Finsmith, but the upside of this deck is you have more rooms for non-engines. You have room for double Droplet or double Bell on this list, no? So your deck is much more resilient and does have more coverage against the format right now. Unlike the Finsmith Snake Eyes, which relies on the engine itself to perform. And next we have Snake Eyes White Woods. Wow, very spicy. So yeah, I wonder how this deck functions. I'm not really sure if White Woods has a lock or not, no? But yeah, I assume it doesn't have any locks on the deck. So yeah, it played copies of the White Woods in a very minimalistic way in the engine of this deck, and yeah, it can bring out Baron, it can bring out the Apollousa and IP. So very terrifying deck that can overwhelm opponents once it can go first. And next we have fourth place Eldritch from Ramadan. So I know this guy in the Indonesia, and he's been playing Eldritch for quite some time now, and he's been performing really well on those tournaments. And this build has been his trademark with the imprisoning mirrors on the side deck with both light and dark, and also played border on the main deck. It's been my reference on my deck building process on Eldritch. With the border on the main deck, and also things like summon limit on the main deck as well. The only thing that I haven't adapted from his build is the Apophis on the main deck, but it can be really strong with the White Hare Rabbit, the Illusionist Link. You can fetch it off with the Link monster, and you're going to have access towards the searchability of the Apophis, which can give you extra negations and valid protection for your back row. And yeah, moving on, we have Aqua Habis Philippines. We have Tenpai Dragon, rather Memento. Yeah, Memento Atlan. So yeah, standard build of Memento Atlan. It played copies of Droll and Bell on the main deck, which is kinda unfamiliar. And I wonder how he has access towards the Winda, if I'm not seeing things mistakenly. So yeah, Winda on the extra deck, and also copies of Evilly Match and Lightning Storm as he's going second answers. So yeah, moving on, we have Duel Bacolo, Drip Saturday Pad. We have first place Tenpai Dragon. So this time it played 2 talent on the main deck, and also Biselis Pattern no, on the extra deck. Very interesting. Now it only played 1 Fadra on the main deck. I also do the same. I think 1 Fadra is enough. And played Sangen Kaiho on the main deck with the trap card of Tenpai Sangen. Very interesting. I wonder how he plays this deck out, and I think he has averages to go first and yeah, skip the main phase of his opponent. So yeah, very interesting build. And next we have Manidium, Visas, Scareclaw. Yeah. So played Summon Limit on the side deck. Very terrifying card for this deck. Once you set up your board with something like a Apollousa, Dispater, Barone, you're going to very much control the game with those Omni Negates, and the Summon Limit will definitely be the ice on your cupcake. So Summon Limit definitely stuns most of his opponents on the side decking part. With Summon Limit going first, it's very hard to deal with the board capability of this deck. And next we have Maju. Yeah, Maju. It's been a long time since I have seen Maju. Grand Maju stun no on the metagame, and I think Grand Maju can be quite intricate to play. You're going to rely on your back row to help your going first with the border, and also the Solemns and the Crackdown. And yeah, Grand Maju can OTK. We all knew that. And yeah, I think it's very interesting here to see Grand Maju once again. And I think John Alfred Go did a very good build on this Maju control. And next we have, I think, another Manidium. Yeah, another Manidium, no? So this time it played the Angel Statue on the main deck. So yeah, I think he is going to go into the Hare Rabbit, and yeah, play this statue. And yeah, it played triple droplet on the side deck. I think we don't really cost too much on droplet on this build. You're still going to be very good, in a good position to win the game, even you discard cards for droplet. And yeah, moving on, we have Duelist Tepian Samarinda weekly tournament. We have first place, no? So we have first place uh, Wawan, yeah, champion of the tournament with Whitewoods, Toyback, Centurion. So yeah, very strong deck going first. Can be able to suffocate the opponent with so much Omni Negates and things like Blazar and Barone, and you are able to access out Dweller, no? So you have a lot of ways to dictate the tempo of the match, and also on the side deck it played a bunch of going first cards with triple summon limit and one anti-spell to ultimately close out the game with those floodgates. And next we have Eric Sky Striker going second. So wow, very niche deck right now in the format. No, we don't really see Sky Striker that much in OCG recently, and yeah, it's very nice to see Sky Striker because this is a very skill dependent deck. You're going to succeed on this deck if you're skillful enough to play the game. And yeah, the pilot definitely answered the call of Sky Striker on this tournament, and it played Dark Ruler No More on the main deck. Yeah, Dark Ruler No More, no? So I think he opted to play Dark Ruler No More over Droplet because he values card advantages and resources, and also played Evenly Match on the main deck. Very strong card for Sky Striker. You don't really need to OTK the opponent because you don't have too much avenue to do that. So you're going to rely on board wiping, and you're going to destroy the boards of your opponent and capitalize on it and control the match using the Sky Striker engine. And next we have Salamangreat. Yeah, Salamangreat. We double Signet mining on the main deck. Most Salamangreat players are only playing with one Signet mining paired with Kaiser Colosseum on the main deck. But this player begged to differ, no? He didn't play Kaiser on the main deck and instead played copies of bunch of hand traps and going second cards on the side deck. And very interesting to see Lancea here. Lancea is very strong against Rescue Ace and Voiceless Voice in a sense. So yeah, Lancea can definitely be kinda a next factor against the Rescue Ace matchup. And next we have Whitewood Centurion, another Whitewood. So we do have a lot of Whitewoods on our list. I think it's the same as earlier. Yeah, I kinda think that it's the same player, but yeah, this time with Whitewood Centurion once again. And yeah, moving on, we have Evo Community League Tournament. We have first place Hellkaiser, our friend from Kaiduli's tabletop community, with Cyber Dragon. So this has been his signature deck as far as I know him, no? And yeah, I think his Cyber Dragon deck is very much different. You're going to see a lot of variations and different approach on this build, like the Chronomaly on the extra deck, and also played the Duality on the main deck, and also played Tyrion Regulus as well to supplement his going first prowess on this build. But I wonder if he opts to go first on this build because he doesn't have too much going second cards on the main deck. Yeah, and his going second cards are on the side deck rather, with Roll and Droplet with Evenly. So yeah, very interesting build from Hellkaiser, Cyber Dragon. And next we have Natura Horus. So yeah, Natura Beast is a beast right now in the format. Once you set up the Natura Beast, you're going to nullify 30-40% of everyone's main deck on the format right now, and it's really a tough toll to overcome on this Natura Beast. And I think Natura can easily execute that. Paired with Horus, you're going to get your resources in the graveyard easily. And yeah, you're just going to set up your Omni Negates and Pseudo Interruptions on this deck. Next, we have third place Kashtira from Aditya. So, Kashtira, no, I think this deck is also kinda going down the radar recently. But this build incorporates Sinful Spoils engine. Yeah, with triple Diabell Star. I think the Diabell Star are only extenders for his build. And he doesn't even play the Silvera. Yeah, the Silvera isn't present on this build. And you're just going to sit on Arise Heart Pass, and Arise Heart does the job and stuns the whole metagame right now by shutting down the graveyard. And you basically win the game from that, no? And you're going to set up your board with Necro Valley and Fissure as well to supplement that. And fourth place, we have Ancient Warrior. Wow, Ancient Warrior with Dogmatica. Yeah. So, Dogmatica acts like the modern extravagance for this build. You're going to pitch the Garura, but it doesn't play Garura right now. Yeah, he doesn't play Garura on the side deck, so he doesn't have a draw one from the Nadir. Instead, his Nadir can function as a going second card to dump something like Entis or the Malong. So those cards can be very pivotal to break his opponent's board. And yeah, the Maximus can definitely be a card that can uh, repeat the recursion of dumping cards on his extra deck towards the graveyard. Very interesting build from Fahar with this Ancient Warrior. And next we have Dubilis Dewata ranking tournament. We have first place San Wukong with San Avalon, no? So San Avalon, this build, or rather the plant pile is kinda getting traction on the TCG once again with the German Nuts and the Euro Championship with Jessica Robinson and another player that piloted this deck and won the tournament, I think. And yeah, I think plant players are getting inspiration from that. They are still going to push the limits of this deck, and the sky is the limit for the deck because it has endless interactions and possibilities to have a different combo and different outcome of board. So this deck is still unexplored in a sense that many people are still going to do adjustments and innovations towards the deck to make it meta relevant on this format. And next we have Snake Eyes. So this time with with Vanquishol. Look at this. Snake Eyes with Vanquishol. So we are going to combo off with the Snake Eyes Ash and the Poplar, of course, with the Bonfire. So you're going to do your usual Snake Eyes line of play, and your Vanquishol can be your pseudo starter with the Raisin, no? And yeah, it conflicts on paper, but once you know how to juggle between these two engines, I think you could do fine on this deck. And yeah, I think this build is very interesting. There's been a bunch of interesting decks on our report right now, no? So yeah, we are very blessed with this type of decks. And next we have Ritual Beast, third place. So standard, no, it played the Nemesis package on the deck. You are able to bring out the Thunder Dragon Colossus because you are going to banish a lot on this deck, and it's very easy to pull out the Colossus, and Colossus is a one card exterminator of most of the meta decks right now in the format. Most decks doesn't have any outs towards the Colossus on game 1. Next we have Voiceless Voice, and Voiceless Voice with Guardian Chimera on the extra deck. I'm not really sure how he can make that Chimera. Maybe the extra deck was just random cards from the Chimera deck. And yeah, I play Lava Golem as well. You don't really need to normal summon too much on this deck. You have ways to overcome that normal summon, and Lava Golem does have a very splendid job on breaking the boards of your opponent. And play the Black Goat Laps on the side deck. That card as well is very strong on the format right now. And next we have Bandung Duvilis Banlis ranking tournament. We have first place Tigar Dino. So he has been playing Dino for a very long time, and he's been an avid player of Dino, and he definitely knows what he's doing on this deck. And this time it played Dark Hole on the main deck with Change of Heart, a bunch of going second cards on this build. So maybe his aim is to go second on this approach, but I think he can go first as well because you are able to set up Apollousa, Barone, IP, going to Little Knight with Dolka, and sometimes Lagya, no? So you have a bunch of Omni Negates, and you can also OTK using this build. And you also have luck on your extra, rather side deck with the Protoss and Nemesis package. And next we have Unchained Finsmith. So once again, another Unchained Finsmith. So nothing too extravagant on this build, as just a standard functional list of Unchained Finsmith. Played a bunch of going first cards on the side deck with the Black Goat and the D-Barrier. And also played Bestials as well, very strong on the Voiceless Voice matchup. And Finsmith as well. And next we have third place Snake Eyes Finsmith. So another standard build, no? Nothing too fancy here. Just play the usual amount of Finsmith cards and Snake Eyes cards all together. And we have fourth place, we have 10 by Dragon Kashtira. So the Kashtira was on the side deck. So you're going to side in the Kashtira once you're going first, and when you're going to go second, the 10 by does its job. So yeah, very insane list here from Ukup, yeah. And next we have Arcanium Hobbies ranking tournament. We have first place Snake Eyes. So this time it played Mind Control, no, on the side deck. So this can be another type of change of heart. But yeah, I think change of heart is a lot better than Mind Control. But yeah, it's really different to see Mind Control here. And next we have Fire King with Snake Eyes, of course. Played Kurikara on the side deck. I wonder if he has avenues to search that aside from Bonfire maybe. And yeah, very optimal list here from Lian. And next we have Infernoid. Yeah, Infernoid 60 with transaction rollback. You're going to FTK the opponent, I assume, using this build. I'm not really familiar with the game of Infernoid, but yeah, it's very hard to deal with this deck because the deck has so much gas and firepower to overwhelm a lot of decks, considering that you have 2 grass and 3 reasoning and a bunch of trust on the deck, no? So there are a lot of ways to navigate those cards into the graveyard. And next we have 4th place Chimera with Finsmith. So yeah, it played Wanghu Tiger, and on the extra deck it played the Hiking Wave Caesar. So yeah, very strong card to protect from Nibiru. And also played Droplets and Evenly Match as he's going second options. And next we have KGS Card Shop tournament. We have Exosister, no? I think this is the last deck on our report. So we have Exo, very roguish deck right now in the format. Even though this deck have been quite underperforming on the metagame, I think it could definitely do wonders on the format right now, considering that you are going to lock the graveyard and you are also going to have 3 to 4 banishes every turn with Magnifica and Returnia. So this can be a very good rogue option to play in the format right now to answer the graveyard centric format that we have currently. So yeah, I think this sums up our Uncrowned Kings local metagame report. I hope you learned something from this video, and if you have time, you can visit our page on Facebook and drop a like and follow on this page. And once again, thank you for watching. See you on the next one. Peace.